So Ron, do you want to just give us some thoughts on?
Well, I mean, when I first had a look at it, I thought it was something special for me. But then I knew everybody who was there. I'd set up the scene, and I couldn't separate myself from the event. So I showed a few people, including Brian, and people said, "You've got to show it," and here we are. And I hope you did feel it was worth showing. It's, as I said, it's something with no real beginning or end. But I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. And because it's so sustained.
How many professional dancers were there?
Well, I hope afterwards some of them might have become professional. They were so good. I mean, that was something that always struck me in clubs, was just how amazingly good people were at dancing. And it was one of the pleasures of going to a club was just to watch people dancing, for me anyway.
And a lot of them were locals, people who were I mean, the guy in white.
Yeah, I mean, he
appears in another Jarman work.
Yeah, after that film, I think Derek signed him up for a music video he did in Benji's. I think a year later, maybe, but a bit later. Pet Shop Boys video, and he's in that. I think you can see it on YouTube. Yeah, I mean, he was a regular to the club. He loved it. He lived for that place, actually. I remember talking to him.
He wasn't a young person.
He's forever young, I think. He seemed to be so enjoying himself. And I mean, one other aspect I like about the tape is obviously everyone who was there knew they were being filmed, and you couldn't possibly have just gone into an actual club and filmed people. Half the people wouldn't have wanted you to be there. But I think you really get the sense of a relationship between Derek behind the camera and the people he's filming. You know, it's an absolutely transparent relationship. And I think because he goes back to and from the dance floor, it's like he's looking for a way to find the best way to catch an involvement in the movement. And there are certain points where he really, really is taking you right in there to the essence of what it is to enjoy dancing, I think.
I was struck by how surprisingly energetic the DJ was. Yes. I don't recall.
He was the regular DJ, I remember. But most of the people, well, about half the people there, I think, were regulars to the club. Some of the people were people, as I said, who came in for the tests, and some of the people were there later doing other improvisations to play specific characters in it, but we weren't able to make Empire State in that way in the end, and we had to kind of give up shooting it with non-professionals and improvisation, but oddly enough we were 2 years later able to do it in a more conventional way. He persuaded me to get the same camera. It was an Olympus VHS camera, and basically you had a deck which was about that big, and you carried that on your back, and that played the VHS tape and cabled to the camera. But you know, at the time it was such a novelty to have a camera that small and that you could carry a video camera. So it felt like a real breakthrough to be able to make things yourself. The cameras before were just too big. And also, I mean, obviously parts of, especially the first half, are quite dark. But once you're on the dance floor later, I mean, I'm quite surprised at the quality of a VHS tape 30 years later. It's just amazing to me, really, the quality. We met in a coffee bar in Earl's Court a long time ago. and we were both at the start of trying to make films. He was trying to raise money for Sebastian, and I was trying to raise money for Nighthawks. So we kind of kept in constant touch, partly, well, mainly because of the filmmaking, I think. And we kind of ran parallel in some ways in terms of some of our concerns. I mean, when we did Empire State, which was partly kind of a State of the Nation film, he was making Last of England. And there's some sort of crossover, not stylistically, but in terms of what motivated us to want to work in those areas. I think Derek generally was very generous to other people trying to make films. I think he helped a lot of people, and I think I met some other filmmakers who were working like me as an assistant on some of his pop videos, and we did, he offered us that work partly to kind of keep us alive, to keep us going. He appears in Nighthawks, in the club scenes, and yeah, we were quite close really in our feelings about film, our wanting to create a kind of more independent film, or to join with other people in trying to create a larger space for more independent work. And there is this comment that he made in a kind of manifesto that he distributed once outside an event at the ICA that he was protesting against. And he said, I'm fighting for a small space, not the whole space, but a small space. And I think we're all still fighting for it. It hasn't got any easier at all. We're discussing it now with British Film Institute, yeah. We're trying to make it available, yeah. It's a question really of the music rights.
There has been interest from film festivals around the world.
Yeah, surprisingly, I think 4 film festivals have asked to show it in America and Italy and Switzerland. Locarno, I think, is expressing interest anyway. I think the music was the DJ's choice, and he was a regular DJ. It was quite a mixed club in the sense that it was it had gay nights, and on the gay nights people tended to bring their friends who weren't gay, or their sisters, or whoever, so it was a bit more mixed. But I was talking to Philip earlier, who you see dancing at the end of the film, and comparing a place like Benji's to a place like the Bell in King's Cross. But I think there were a few people there from the Bell who might not normally have been there. But I think people roved around anyway. I think places did mix up, and Benji's maybe mixed up a bit more than most for a local place. It was always VHS, always VHS. I think at the time Derek came in on this, I don't think he'd had the Olympus camera very long, but he was very excited to use it. It was just another tool that made producing of visual images possible economically. And it was very flexible. It was like a new toy, really.